Do you know about the king who married his own daughter? A ruler so obsessed with beauty that he lost his mind and his kingdom. This is the untold story of King Theros, a man who dared to defy nature itself. Long ago, around 429 BC, in a region that lies beneath modern-day Iraq, there existed a mighty kingdom known as Eloria. Eloria was a land of grand palaces, flowing rivers, and golden towers that touched the sky. And among its rulers, none was as feared or as admired as King Theros. Theros was known for his wisdom and bravery in battle. Under his rule, Eloria reached great heights. Wealth, art, and power spread across the land. But deep within, Theros carried a darkness that no one saw, a pride so strong that he believed even destiny must bow before him. Years passed, and though Theros had conquered kingdoms, he could not conquer time. He grew old. His hair turned gray, his reflection began to fade, and loneliness surrounded him like a silent curse. Then one day, a miracle was born in his palace. Princess Selene, his only daughter. The moment Theros saw her, he felt as though Allah had blessed his house with light. She grew up to be breathtakingly beautiful, so radiant that people whispered, "Perhaps she is not of this world. Perhaps she is an angel sent to Eloria." But beauty, when seen through a twisted mind, can turn into obsession. As Selene grew, Theros began to see in her the reflection of youth he had lost. He watched her laugh, speak, walk, and something inside him began to change. His advisors noticed it. The queen, before her death, had warned him, "Remember, O king, love is sacred. Do not let your loneliness consume you." But after her passing, Theros became lost in his own palace of shadows. He began calling Selene the light of Eloria, and soon he ordered painters to carve her face on palace walls, above even his own image. Whispers spread, ministers grew silent. No one dared to question the king, until one night, Theros made a declaration that shook the court. He stood before his nobles and said, "From this day forth, there shall be no man worthy of Selene, for her blood is royal, and her destiny is tied to mine. She shall be my queen." The court fell silent. Shock, fear, disbelief. How could a father marry his own daughter? But no one dared to oppose him. In those times, a king's word was law, and to question it meant death. Selene cried for days. She prayed for mercy. She begged her father, saying, "This is not love. This is madness." But Theros had gone too far. His heart had turned to stone. He believed his soul was chosen, that Allah had made him above all men. The royal wedding was held under a moonless sky. The people of Eloria watched in silence. No music, no joy, only trembling hearts and fearful eyes. Selene walked like a flower caught in fire. She wore a crown, but her eyes were filled with tears. And Theros smiled like a man who had conquered fate. But fate does not forgive arrogance. That night, a storm rose over Eloria. Thunder echoed across the desert. The palace lamps flickered, and a dark wind blew through the royal hall. As the king lifted his cup to celebrate, lightning struck the highest tower. A spark, a flame, and soon the palace was engulfed in fire. Selene's screams filled the air. Servants ran, walls collapsed, and the sky turned red. Theros tried to reach his daughter, but flames surrounded him. Some say, in those final moments he cried out, "Forgive me, O Allah. I was blind, I was proud, I was lost." By dawn, the palace of Eloria was gone. All that remained was ash and silence. The once great kingdom vanished beneath the sands, buried by time, erased from maps. Centuries later, explorers found traces of an ancient palace beneath modern-day Iraq. Walls burned black, statues half-melted, and strange carvings of a man and a young queen. Locals call it the Palace of the Cursed King. Even today, no one dares to rebuild there. For those who tried, they say they heard voices at night, a woman crying and a man whispering, "Forgive me, forgive me." And so, the legend of Theros and Selene became a warning. that power without wisdom and love without limits lead only to ruin. Remember this, even kings who thought they ruled the world could not escape the judgment of Allah. And somewhere beneath the sands of Iraq, their story still waits, silent, buried, and cursed.